4th of March. We have one public hearing, so we will begin this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Jerry, could you lead us in the pledge? Thank you, Denise.
I'll just unmute me. Patrick Halpin, Frank Santos, Jerry O'Neill, Dan Truchin,
Present.
Ed Wynn,
Present.
Juan Leon,
Present.
Greg Gaxiola, Matt Esposito, Rich Casey.
Do we have a quorum?
We do.
Okay.
I'm going to read the pink sheet.
Before we start the public hearing, I'd like to read this into the record. The planning board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the planning board may determine that any approvals, building permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the application are null and void.
Item A on the agenda, public hearing, site plan review subdivision, job number 23-13AB, Industrial Threaded Products Corp. Proposes to subdivide 5 lots held in common ownership into 2 in order to maintain a 1-story industrial building on Lot 1 and construct a 16,560 square foot 1-story warehouse building with showroom, an office, and a mezzanine for storage, along with associated site improvements on Lot 2.
Okay, who's here on behalf of the applicant?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Nicole Blanda. I'm an attorney at Bazell, Blanda, and Visconti with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay, please proceed.
I have reviewed the covenants and restrictions that are in the planning memo as well, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any issues or questions or concerns that you have regarding?
No questions, no concerns. We consent to them all.
Regarding any of the conditions,
Nope.
any of the restrictions involving any of the lots that we're here to discuss?
No issues.
Okay, please proceed.
I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Industrial Threaded Products Corp., in connection with seeking a 2-lot subdivision and approval of a site plan for a new warehouse building. The overall premises has frontage on 3 streets: Mount Avenue, New Avenue, and Wyandanch Avenue. It is in West Babylon, and it is comprised of 5 separate tax lots. They're all zoned Industry GA. The existing 1-story industrial building is located at 777 Mount Avenue. That is comprised of tax lots 1 and 5.2. There is a CO for that building that dates back to 1965. Access to the 777 Mount Avenue site is achieved through a curb cut on Mount Avenue and a second curb cut on Wyandanch Avenue, and I'll get more into their site in a little bit. Industrial Threaded manufactures pipe supports or pipe hangers. Basically, they work with raw material to fabricate pipe support systems that ultimately get used in water treatment plants, hospitals, schools. Those are just a few examples. They've been in business since 1984. They purchased this property with financial assistance from the Town of Babylon Industrial Development Agency back in 2013, and they would like to expand their operation into what you could see as the wooded portion of the property in an effort to organize, streamline their business, and operate more efficiently. So those parcels that are currently wooded are separate tax lots. Proposed Lot 1 would maintain the existing building that you see. It's got an irregular shape, kind of like a horseshoe. That lot will have an area of 1.517 acres. Proposed Lot 2 has 3 tax lots involved, 3.2, 5.4, and 6. They would all be merged together, and they would have a lot area of 1.217 acres. The applicant is proposing to construct a 16,560 square foot 1-story warehouse building with a small showroom and 2 offices, and also a mezzanine area for storage. That would all be encompassed within Lot 2, and also associated site improvements. The purpose of this new building on a separate lot is to, again, alleviate some of the burden of storage that they're feeling on the 777 Mount site. and also organize that storage and make the company more efficient, but also be easily accessible. The purpose of subdividing and having it be on a separate property entirely rather than having this all be one large overall site plan owned by the same entity is basically for future planning. It'll be owned by an affiliated entity, but this way in the future, if business starts to be different or the family has other plans, they are able to liquidate one of the parcels. They could sell it independently, and at that time, not have to come back here and start a zoning process. They felt they were ready now to go through the zoning process. It just made more sense for them. That said, there will be a cross-access between the sites, and I'm going to walk you through the site plan now. So on Lot 1, there's going to be some upgrades, such as new street curbs. We will be enlarging the sidewalks to be 7 feet wide pursuant to town specs. We'll be providing handicap accessible ramps on both corners, so the corner of Mount and New and the corner of Mount and Wyandanch Avenue will have the required handicap accessible ramps. We'll be converting a parking stall to a handicap accessible within the north parking area of the existing site, and we'll be repainting and refinishing the existing building. This is where the manufacturing will continue to take place. There are deliveries that come to this site. They currently access through the curb cut on Wyandanch Avenue, and that will continue to be the case. The new site on Lot 2 will essentially front on Wyandanch Avenue and have ingress and egress to and from the site at that curb cut on Wyandanch Avenue. So in other words, there's not going to be any through traffic or deliveries or any kind of site traffic coming off of New Avenue, which does have some residences to the north. That curb cut up there will be a crash gate for emergency vehicles only, and I'll get into that as well. So there'll be new sidewalks and curbs installed along Wyandanch Avenue, as well as some street trees. As we head into the site from Wyandanch Avenue, there will be some parking spaces on either side, and then there'll be a cross-access point that leads to 777 Mount Avenue, as requested by the Planning Department. I have drafted a cross-access agreement, and we are discussing it with planning currently. What will happen is that will be recorded at the Suffolk County Clerk's office, and it runs with the land. In this area, you can see there's also a refuse container as per town specs. The building is within the easterly portion of the site, and as we head north towards New Avenue, we see the loading dock on the east side of the travel aisle, and then along the building, and we see parking spaces along the west side of the site. 36 spaces are required for Lot 2, and 36 are provided. Running down the middle, you can see it's the travel aisle, but it's also kind of, you see the lines going, that's the 20-foot fire lane that leads to the crash gate at the northerly end of the property, and the crash gate is along New Avenue. Along New Avenue, we'll also get some landscaping, some street trees, new curbing, new sidewalk. The entire site will have new drainage and lighting throughout. This site will, again, have a couple of offices, basically for the building, the manager and the foreman of the business. The site will mostly be for storage. It will not have the tractor-trailer deliveries like the other site has, but it will have some box truck deliveries and things of that nature. They have a conference room, a break room, and like the small showroom, which you can kind of see is in the middle next to the offices. So basically, I mean, they've been, you know, a good town of Babylon resident, so to speak, or business operator for many, many years, and they want to stay in the town. This is just a nice way for them to expand. And, you know, we have gone through all of the covenants and conditions, and we have no issues with those. And, you know, if the board has any questions, we do have our architect, Chuck Lembo from Spaces, here with us tonight. If there's anything specific about the elevations or the floor plan, he can walk you through. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Do any of the board members have any questions?
I do about the site plan. Matt, can you bring up the site plan again? Can you bring up the site plan again? On the original building, the existing building, what's the access, ingress and egress from that after you create the two separate lots?
So there's the curb cut on Mount Avenue, that's as you head north towards the corner of New Avenue, there's still the existing curb cut there.
Okay.
That accesses all that parking in the northerly portion.
Okay,
You can wrap around the building. They have various equipment in the back, but it's not meant to circulate, cars all the way around the building. Then there's a curb cut on Wyandanch Avenue that accesses that portion of the property.
so it's not just the new lane that goes into the new building. There's a curb cut there, right where it's 1177, Matt?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
The dimension, the 111.77, that's a curb cut, yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? No? Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the board regarding this application? No? Pardon me? Well, come on up. No, sir, come on up to the microphone, please.
Hi.
Hold on. Matt's going to give you, fill out. You don't have to fill it out at this minute. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
Richard Brown, 740 Mount Avenue.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please proceed.
All right. Pretty much, my first time here.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
okay.
curious to
Welcome.
see how things work. And I mean, the company has actually been pretty good.
Oh, you have to talk.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry
The-
about it. We're the ones that make the decision.
Oh, okay. The company has been pretty good with manufacturing. Noise, don't really have any issues. Traffic flow, never been a disruption. I guess one question, I mean, the benefit other than profits, like, is there a benefit for the community? I guess that would be for them.
Well, that's a question we will ask them. How is the community going to benefit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other question?
No, that's my main concern is.
Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming. Now, what street do you live on? New Avenue?
No, Mount Avenue.
Oh, Mount, okay.
Right
Mount.
across
Oh,
from
okay.
them.
Oh, right there, right
Yes.
across the way there. Okay.
Yeah, and I
All
guess, I mean, thinking about it now, I guess traffic flow, like, traffic flow has always been great. Will that pretty
Right.
much be the same?
Okay.
Or will there be an increase in traffic flow?
All right, those are all good questions. We will ask them to address those on the record so we have an official statement.
Okay,
Traffic and community benefit.
yes.
One point, were you saying that they've been a good neighbor?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? No? Okay. Ms. Blanda, you want to come back and talk about traffic?
So for traffic, Cameron Engineering did a review on behalf of the town as part of the application and found that there would be no issues. I think a good point to make too is that for this site, they only anticipate having 5 employees working that site because it is mostly storage. So you have the 2 offices, so we have those people who will be there, and then maybe you have, 3 or 4 people coming back and forth to do what they need to do. The other nice thing is, as I said before, there's no access on New Avenue to the new site. The curb cuts on Mount already exist, and they're closing up one that currently says like a driveway apron that would actually lead you to hit the building. So Highway has us extending the curb, so in terms of a community benefit, all the sidewalks are going to be...
Hold on, Matt, show us what, okay. there
Sure,
we
so you see that little...
go. Yes.
It's, the curb cut to nowhere. So that's going to be closed up, and the proper curbing will be installed. Any sidewalk that right now is only 4 feet or 5 feet wide will be extended to the full 7 feet of width, which is to town specs. So that's definitely a community benefit as an upgrade. New drainage and new lighting on the site. And just having, sometimes when you have especially that it's 1.2 acres that's wooded, sometimes it's better to have it developed and have someone actually occupying the space. It makes it safer, keeps it clean. You don't have dumping go on because you have someone who's, living in the space, so to speak. And they are putting up landscaping along the perimeter as well, which will, make it look prettier than maybe what it currently looks at the street. So, the facade, I think we have renderings. The building facades are also, for industrial, are pretty attractive. It's broken up. You have different materials and different looks. But I think overall, sometimes it's just better to have a neighbor occupying a property than just to have it vacant. So,
Are there any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. Since there's no one else who would like to address the board regarding this application, I'm going to request a motion from the board to close the hearing and to reserve decision. So, Dan, could you make a motion?
Motion?
A second by Frank? Second. Two? Reserve the decision, to close the hearing and to reserve the decision. Okay, thank you. So the hearing, the public hearing is now closed. The decision has been reserved in order for us to review the feedback we've received this evening and also to address any open site plan issues. The record will remain open for written comments. To follow up on the status of the application or to submit additional written comments, you may contact the planning department by either of the following methods. One, in person. The planning board is located in the west wing of Town Hall. Application documents and plans are available for inspection between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. or by phone. The number is 631-957-3103, or via email, planningcomments@townofbabylon.com. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Okay, that is our only